I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I
I am California of the past.
My name is Melesha Owen, and I lived in Hayward from the time I was 2 until the time I was about 18. I lived on Kelly Hill from 1972 till about 1978 or so. It was a wonderful place to grow up. The milkman came around and we got our milk, and that's where I remember one Easter, the milkman brought the Easter bunny. It was a beautiful, humongous, gray and white Easter bunny, looked just like Bugs Bunny, and I thought it was the best thing. Always fun to go to Don Castro Park, which was around the corner, and let's see, I caught my first fish there. My dad took my sister and I fishing one day. We went with the Baileys who lived across the street, and I caught a fish. My dad had a little white Volkswagen, and we hung the fish out the window, and when we got home, my dad said, "Okay, let's eat him." And I was so disappointed because I thought we were going to keep him in the bathtub, and I'll never forget that, and I have never been fishing since. I guess the best thing was the neighbors. You know, my best friend lived on the other side of the fence. Folks that I later ended up going to high school with, you know, everybody was in the neighborhood. There was, as I mentioned, the Baileys across the street. My neighbors next door had a swimming pool. And that's when I learned that probably you want to learn how to swim before you hop in a swimming pool, because I fell out of one of those little floaty rings. Thought I was gonna die. Neighbors came in, saved me, and that was fine. I went to All Saints School, and I remember, you know, but that was back in the days when you could let a first grader catch the bus by themselves. The first day of school, my mom took me to school. The second day of school, she said, "Okay, now remember we practiced catching the bus." So she met me at school, she took me to the bus stop, she said, "Okay, you get on the bus and I want to make sure that you get off at the right stop." So she followed the bus in her car and made sure that I got off at the right place and made sure that I crossed the street safely, and I caught the bus there. It cost 15 cents at the time, and for some strange reason, I put the money in my mouth to hold it. Who would do that? That was just disgusting, but I did. And it cost 15 cents to catch AC Transit up the hill. So I did that many, many a times. And you know, to this day, it's a fond memory, but who would let their first grader catch the bus by themselves? People don't do that anymore. It was a different neighborhood. At the bus stop, seems to me there was a store, and for some reason I seem to remember that it was called Moon Store or something. And they had candy, and you know, that was back in the day when there really was penny candy, and if you had 25 cents you were rich and you could get a lot of candy for 25 cents. So I remember sometimes I'd catch the bus in the morning and stop at the store and get I used to like those suckers with the candy inside, blow pops. That was one of my favorites. There was lots of candy. I remember down at the base of Kelly Hill there was Russell's grocery store. And that was, you know, another place that was to go. I remember I got my very first frozen pizza from Russell's grocery store. And that was back in the day before frozen pizza tasted good. They weren't as tasty as they are now. Frozen pizza was basically cardboard, seems like, and some cheese type food. Not very delicious. It seemed to me there was mostly black folks in the neighborhood. Our next door neighbors, I remember they were a fairly young married couple. And I kind of remember they moved in, but I know they hadn't always lived there the whole time we lived there. And they reminded me of Captain and Tennille. I know that wasn't really their names, but they always reminded me of Captain and Tennille. And across the street there was an older gentleman, and I always called him Popeye. I'm sure that wasn't really his name. He lived across the street. But I'd say mostly mostly black families lived in the neighborhood. You know, seems like there was always somebody friendly there. Just about everybody It was friendly. I remember there was a young lady named Colleen who lived there with her family. They were a white family. They lived around the corner and played with Colleen a lot. Oh, you know, the other thing I remembered, across the street from my neighbors was Mr. Busby. Mr. Busby was a musician. He was a fantastic musician. And every Sunday he played music out of his garage. I don't remember, it was jazz, I don't remember what instrument he played. But you know, the whole time I was growing up, I thought, oh, he's just playing records. It didn't occur to me, and I said, oh yeah, remember how Mr. Busby would play all those records, Mom? And my mom says, well, no, he was a musician. He was fantastic. Every Sunday he played this music, and it was very neat to go there. All in all, it really was a lot of fun growing up there. You know, it was wonderful to, you know, go someplace where everybody knows you. And to this day, I still run into people who still remember me, as old as I am, from when I was a little girl, and I lived on the second house from the corner on Sierra Avenue. All the way around, it was really good.